Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to have all of you at this board meeting today. I am Tan Sri Tavanesh Analalaki Manisegan, the chairman of this meeting. Without delay, let's begin our board meeting now. First of all, Ms. Intan, could you please confirm the presence of the quorum today?
Sure, Chairman. Everyone was present today. Therefore, we can proceed with our board meeting now since the quorum is enough to start the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Intan. Since the requisite quorum have been fulfilled, therefore, I will start the meeting by introducing the directors that will be with us today. First, Dato Sri Mak Wei Ying, our Managing Director. Datin Nur Izani binti Bakri, our Executive Director. Tan Sri Nurul Husna binti Suhaimi, our Non-Executive Director. Datuk Sri Neng Ying San, our Non-Executive Director. The notice of our board meeting has been sent to all of you in advance. Does anyone disagree with it? Seems like everyone agrees with it. Then, with the consent of the members present, I would like to declare that the notice convening the board meeting has been accepted as given. Before we start, Ms. Intan, could you please explain the voting procedures that will be taken throughout this meeting?
Sure, Chairman. The flow of our meeting will follow with the agenda stated in the notice of board meeting. The directors will need to vote on each agenda mentioned in the notice of the board meeting. So, please raise your hand when our chairman asks for a vote later in the resolution. The agenda will be resolved when all or majority of the directors agree with it without any objective. To assist in tallying the votes, I will take responsibility for counting the process. So, any question from the floor? All right, I will pass it back to the chairman to proceed with the first agenda.
Firstly, as usual, we must approve the previous board of directors meeting minutes on 30th April 2024. Before getting the approval from everyone on the board, do anyone has any question on the changes that needed to be made to the previous meeting minutes?
No.
No. No. No.
No.
Since no questions from the floor, we should proceed with the vote on approval of the previous meeting minutes. Please raise your hand if you agree to approve the previous meeting minutes. Ms. Intan, please take count on the voting.
Sure, Chairman. The votes have been recorded. Everyone has agreed to approve the previous minutes meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Intan. Since everyone has agreed to approve it, let's proceed with the next agenda. The second agenda is to review and approve the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2024. Datuk Sri Mak Wei Ying, could you please explain the report summary on the audited financial statement results?
All right, Chairman. As we know, the auditors from Ernst & Young have audited our company financial statement as at 31 March 2024, which included the following. First, statement of financial position. Second, statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Third, statement of change in equity. Fourth, statement of cash flow. And the last one is note to the financial statement. According to the audited annual report, the auditors declare that the financial statements provide an accurate and fair view of the financial position of Pertiga Berhad for the financial year ended 31 March 2024, and it is complying with the Malaysian Financial Reporting Statement Standards (MFRS) and International Financial Reporting Standards (IFRS) and the requirement of the Company Act 2019.
Thank you, Datuk Sri Mak Wei Ying. Does anyone have any questions about the audited financial statement?
No.
No.
All right, please raise
No.
your hand if you agree to approve the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st March 2024 and the related reports. Ms. Intan, please count the vote.
The votes have been recorded. Dear Chairman, all agreed to approve the audited financial statement for the year mentioned.
Since everyone agreed to approve the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st March 2024, Therefore, I hereby declare that the agenda has been resolved. Hence, the audited financial statements will be circulated at least 21 days before the date of the upcoming AGM, and they will be presented in the upcoming AGM only for discussion with the other shareholders and auditors. Let's move to Agenda 3, which is on the retirement and re-election of directors. As usual, we need to select 1/3 of our eligible directors to be retired as comply with the rotation rule non under the Companies Act 2016.
I have some confusion about this agenda. Can Datin Nur Izani please explain further on this matter?
Sure, Tan Sri Husna. As Chairman mentioned, the 1/3 rotation rule to elect the director that is eligible to retire from office pursuant to Section 205 Subsection 3 Subsection B of the Companies Act 2016, the director eligible to retire from office includes Tan Sri Tavanesh, Tan Sri Nurul Husna binti Suhaimi, and Datuk Sri Ng Ying San. Thus, 1/3 of 3 members is equivalent to 1 director. According to Section 23 of the Third Schedule of Companies Act 2016, the Managing Director will not be eligible for retirement since the board appoints him based on the package contract. At the same time, the removed director is also not eligible to retire. Alternative directors also will not be eligible for retirement under Schedule 4 of the Companies Act 2016 on Form A and Section 196 Subsection 4 Subsection B.
You are welcome. Okay, how about Chairman? Do you agree with the statement?
Yes, I agree with the statement.
Okay, according to Section 205, Subsection 5 of the Companies Act 2016, retiring directors may be re-elected if they are not disqualified under the Act. Therefore, if the person agrees and the members have approved the ordinary resolution, the retiring directors may be elected again at the next AGM. So, Chairman, do you agree to re-elect as the company director at the next AGM?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, did all of you agree to re-elect Tan Sri Tavanish as the company director at the next AGM? Please raise your hand if you agree. Okay, so the votes have been recorded. Dear Chairman, all agreed to re-elect Tan Sri Tavanish as the director of the company at the next AGM.
I appreciate the trust. I will be retired and re-elected for the 6th AGM. Do you have more questions regarding this agenda? All right, we will present this agenda for ordinary resolution at the ordinary business in the AGM. Let us move to the next agenda, which is to discuss the director's election without the need to be retired. Ms. Intan, can you further explain the requirements to elect the new directors?
Sure, Chairman. According to Section 203, Subsection 3 of the Companies Act 2016 and listing requirement, the board may appoint a director in addition to the existing director at any time. And the appointed director shall hold office until the next annual general meeting.
If we want to appoint Dato Sri Ng San as the new director, is it possible?
Yes, after referring to the Registrar of Directors, it is highlighted that Datuk Sri Ng Yin San is eligible to be appointed and she needs to hold office until the next AGM.
Thank you for the explanation. I would like to ask whether all of you agree to elect Dato Sri Meng Ying San as our new director of the company. Please raise your hand if you agree.
Okay, the votes have been recorded. Dear Chairman, all agree to elect Datuk Sri Eng Yin San as our new director for our company at the next AGM.
Thank you for the response. Since everyone agrees, thus I will conclude that Sri Meng Ying San will be elected as the company director for official appointment in the 6th AGM. So we will bring this agenda to the next AGM for ordinary resolution under ordinary business. Now we proceed to our 5th agenda to discuss the payment of director's fee. I would like to ask Dato Sri Ning San, a director and a member of the nomination committee and the remuneration committee, to explain the director's fees.
Right. So last month, the remunerations committees held a meetings to review the remunerations of the boards. So after carefully considerations, we agreed to maintain the same fees, same directors' fees for the executive, non-executive, and managing directors. So the total remunerations for the boards of directors is actually 155,000, unchanged from the previous year. This is just our team's opinions. Any comments or suggestions is welcome.
May I say something, Dato Sri Ing San?
Sure, you may.
Okay. Since we didn't get any salary increment for 3 years since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, is it possible for us to get a 10% increment for this year?
Pardon, Dato Sri Ma Wei Ying. I have a different opinions.
Oh, come and tell us your opinions.
Alright, so Dato Sri Ma Wei Ying and I did not see eyes to eyes, so I don't think this is the time to request an increase yet. As a board of director, we have an obligation to do everything in our powers to minimize the operating expenses while guarantee that all the directors receive their fair distributions of the benefits. So from a long-term perspective, we should channels the company's funds for the business developments and expansions instead of the prioritizing the fees increments.
Both of you are right on your point. For fairness, I will put this resolution for voting by showing a hand. You may raise your hand if you agree to maintain your fees as in the previous year.
Okay, everyone's votes have been recorded. The chairman, 4 out of 5 this director agree to maintain the fees.
All right, since the majority of us agreed, I hereby declare that the agenda is resolved where the amount of director fees totaling 155,000. Now, for our next agenda, which is regarding the directors' benefits in kind for the period from 11th July 2024 until the next annual general meeting of Pertiga Berhad. I would like to open to any directors to give their opinion regarding this agenda.
Before this, the remuneration committee had already held a meeting in advance to review the benefit of the board, and we have decided to maintain the directors' benefits for each director the same as the previous year. The total benefit in kind for directors amount to the 3,000 ringgit per meeting for the board meeting, 3,000 ringgit per meeting for the general meeting, 2,000 ringgit per meeting for the board committee meeting, and others meeting where the directors are invited to attend will receive 2,000 ringgit per meeting, which is the same as the last year. Other benefits that director can receive is company car and personal driver for chairman, medical coverage, travel, communication, and other claimable benefits. The board of directors must make every effort to control the operating costs and will ensure that benefits are distributed fairly among all the directors.
All right. Thank you, Tansri Nurul Husna, for your explanation. I would like to ask whether all of you agree to maintain the director's benefits from 11 July 2024 until the next AGM.
Okay, all the votes have been counted. All agreed to maintain the director's benefits for the next period.
Since all of you agreed with this, I hereby declare that the agenda is resolved where the amount for director's benefit in kind will be total of 10,000 per meeting. Let's move to the next agenda, which is the appointment and the fixing the auditor's remuneration. We start with the appointment of auditor. Deloitte has been appointed as our auditor for 3 years, and their performance during this time has been exceptional. Therefore, we propose to appoint Deloitte as our auditor for the upcoming financial year. Regarding this, I would like to ask for approval from all of you, and please raise hands if you agree with this. Thank you. We will now proceed with fixing the auditor's remuneration. In the current year, we paid EY a total of 75,000 for the audit fees. However, EY mentioned that audit fees would rise to 80,000 in the upcoming year.
Is there any explanation for the increase in the new appointed auditor fees?
Yes, please allow me to explain. The workload of the auditor can impact on the audit fees. Since we anticipated outstanding performance from the EYs, it requires significant efforts and time from the auditor, leading to the higher fees.
All right, thank you, Tan Sri Nurul Husna, for the explanation.
We will proceed with the voting process if there are no further inquiries. Kindly raise your hand if you agree with this resolution.
All directors' votes have been recorded where all agreed with the resolution.
Since all members passed this resolution, I conclude that Deloitte will be appointed as the company auditor with a remuneration of 80,000 per annum. Now we move to the next agenda, which is the authority to issue shares according to sections 75 and 76 of the Companies Act 2016. Mr. Lai, could you please help me to explain this to the directors?
Certainly, Chairman. According to Section 75 and 76 of the Companies Act 2016, the company's director have the authority to issue and allocate shares once the company obtains approval through a resolution. This authority comes into effect immediately upon the passing of the resolution and remains valid until the conclusion of the next AGM of the company.
Thank you, Ms. Intan. Please raise your hands if you agree with this agenda.
All votes have been counted. All are agreed with this agenda to be discussed further on the next AGM.
If there are no further concerns regarding this matter, we should move to the next agenda. Now, let's move to the next agenda, which is the change of company name from Pertiga Berhad to Rancha Pertiga Holding Berhad, with effect from the date of issuance of notice of registration of new name by the Companies Commission of Malaysia. With regard to this, I would like to ask for approval from all of you, and please raise your hands if you agree with this.
Okay, all directors' votes have been recorded where all are agreed with the resolution.
Since all members passed this resolution, I conclude that change of company name resolution have been approved. Our agenda includes a critical discussion on the disclosure of beneficial owner information for members holding voting shares. As you know, transparency is key to maintaining the integrity of our company. We will review the relevant guidelines and our obligations under the Companies Act 2016. Let's start with an overview.
Thank you, Tan Sri Tavanish. This recent amendment to the Companies Act 2060 and the introduction of the Companies Act 2024 have established a comprehensive framework for beneficial ownership reporting. Our company must comply with this regulation to enhance corporate transparency and mitigate the risk associated with the illicit activities.
Anyone can explain what constitutes a beneficial owner under the new framework?
Alright, certainly, a beneficial owner is defined as a natural person who ultimately owns or controls a company through direct or indirect interest in share or exercise the ultimate effective control over the company. So this includes individuals who hold significant influence over decision-making process.
How are we required to report this information?
Under the new framework, our company must maintain a separate register of beneficial owners at our register office. So beneficial owners are obligated to notify the company of their status and any changes to their information. So failure to comply could result in penalties.
What steps that should we take to ensure the compliance?
We need to establish a clear procedures for identifying and recording the beneficial owners. So this includes notifying all the members holding voting shares about their obligations to disclose the beneficiaries of ownerships. The second one is regularly updating our register of beneficial owners. The third one is providing trainings to relevant staff to ensure they understand and can implement the new requirements.
Thank you for the detailed explanation. It's clear that maintaining transparency in our ownership structure is not just a regulatory requirement, but also a best practice for good governance. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
No.
No question from me.
Thank you. Let's ensure we are fully compliant and set a strong example of corporate governance. If there are no further questions, we'll proceed to the next item on the agenda. Agenda number 11 is to approve a resolution to hold our AGM and authorize the secretary to issue a notice. Ms. Intan, could you please provide us with an update on the proposed AGM?
Sure, Chairman. We have been discussing the scheduling and logistics of the AGM, and I am pleased to present the proposed resolution to the board today. We will hold our 5th annual general meeting of Pertiga Berhad at the Linear Room, Level 10, Office Tower Number 3, Jalan Nagasari, 50200 Kuala Lumpur on 10 July 2034 at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Ms. Intan. Before we proceed, I would like to open the floor for any questions from the board members regarding the proposed resolution.
I have a question. So have we ensured that the necessary quorums will be present at the AGMs to make it valid and effective?
Absolutely, Datuk Sri Insan. As per the requirements stated in the Companies Act 2016, we will ensure that the necessary quorum is present at the AGM. Additionally, we will provide clear instruction to our shareholders on attending and participating in the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Intan. It seems that we have taken all the necessary steps to organize a successful AGM. If there are no further questions from the board members, we will proceed with the voting process. Kindly raise your hand if you agree with the resolution.
Dear Chairman, as counted, all the directors agreed to the proposed agenda.
The resolution is approved unanimously. Ms. Intan and Ms. Nang, please proceed with the necessary actions to hold the AGM and issue the notice to shareholders.
We will promptly initiate the process of organizing the AGM and issuing the notice to shareholders in accordance with the approved resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Intan, for your diligent work on this matter. Moving on to agenda number 12, which is to review and finalize the notice of annual general meeting. Ms. Intan, could you please provide us with an update on the progress made so far?
Sure, I have prepared a draft of the notice of AGM, which includes all the necessary information and agenda items to be discussed during the meeting. Therefore, I would like to finalize the agenda that will be at the notice of the AGM.
Yes, you shall continue, Ms. Intan.
Firstly, we will go through ordinary business purpose. There is seven agenda which is as follows. First, to approve the previous Board of Directors meeting of minutes on 30th April 2024. Second, to review and approve the audited financial statement for the financial year ended 31st March 2024 together with the reports of directors and auditor. The third one is to discuss the retirement and the re-election of the director of Pertiga Berhad, who is retiring pursuant to Section 205, Subsection 3, Subsection B, Section 205, Subsection 4, and Section 205, Subsection 5 of the Companies Act 2016 and Article 94 of the Companies Constitution, which is for Tan Sri Tavanish Anak Lelaki Manis Segaran. Fourth, to discuss the retirement and election of the Director of Pertiga Berhad pursuant to Section 202, Subsection 3, Subsection A of the Companies Act 2016 and Article 99 of the Companies Constitution, which is for Datuk Sri Ng Insan. Next, to review and approve the payment of directors' fees for the financial year ended 31st March 2024. To review and approve the payment of directors' benefit for the period from 5th Annual General Meeting until the next AGM. Agenda 7, to appoint EY to hold office as the new auditor of the company until the conclusion of the next AGM at a remuneration to be determined by the directors. Is there any other agenda to be included in the ordinary business purpose before we proceed to a special business purpose?
No.
Okay, I will continue with the special business, which first is to obtain the authority to issue and allot shares pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of the Companies Act 2016 and followed by to discuss of the approval of the proposed change company name. Are there any other points or agenda that I have missed?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Intan, for preparing the notice of AGM and accommodating the board's suggestions. If there are no further comments regarding this agenda, let's proceed to the conclusion of this meeting. Finally, we have reached the end of our board meeting today. I am grateful that we could finish the discussion of our agenda as planned. Before we officially adjourn this meeting, may I have a summary of our agendas we discussed today?
Yes, Chairman. I will now briefly summarize each of the 12 agendas we discussed today. First agenda, the board member have agreed to approve the previous meeting minutes held on 30 April 2023. Second agenda, the board members reviewed and approved the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2024. Third agenda, all board members agreed that Tan Sri Tavanish Anak Lelaki Manis Segaran should be retired for the forthcoming AGM pursuant to Section 205, Subsection 3, Subsection B of the Companies Act 2016 and agreed to his re-election as a director. For agenda, all board members agreed to the election Datuk Sri Ng Insan as a director in the forthcoming AGM pursuant to Section 202, Subsection 3, Subsection A of the Companies Act 2016. Next agenda, most board members agreed to maintain the total amount of the director's fees the same as in the previous financial year, which is 500,000. Next agenda, most board members agreed to maintain the total amount of the director's benefit in kind in the same as previous financial year, which is 2,097,000. 7 agenda. All board members agreed to appoint EY as the company auditor with a remuneration of 85,000 per annum. Next agenda, the company directors are empowered to issue and allot shares once the resolution is approved during the AGM, and this power remains effective until the conclusion of the AGM in the next term. Ninth agenda, the board approved the resolution to hold the AGM, the fifth AGM, and authorize the secretary to issue a notice of AGM. The AGM will be conducted on 15th of July 2023 at 10 a.m. in Meeting Room 1, ground floor number 1023, Labani House 06000 Jitra, Kedah. Next agenda, the board members reviewed and finalized the ordinary and special business in the notice of AGM. That's all. Conclude my summary of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Intan. Are there any other questions from the floor?
No question.
No question.
May I adjourn the meeting today?
Yes, you may.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I hereby declare that the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your active participation and valuable contributions toward this board meeting. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you too.
You.